So, IYV guitars have sucked me into buying another one. I have the 500 jazz box, and after a little bit of setting up and stuff, it turned out pretty good. And enough so that I was curious enough to try another one. Now, this is the 300 IJZ or whatever, but made by IYV, which is the name of the company in Vietnam. From Amazon. Now, the box says 9.5 pounds, so with the weight of the box and the packing, that puts this guitar somewhere in the 7.5 pound, maybe 6.5, 7 pound range. We'll find out. Now, I will only do half the video right now, and the other half once it's set up, just like the last one, because no doubt there's going to be something wrong with it. Now, I paid just a shade over $300 with the shipping. So I expect, because they're regularly over $300 before the tax, so I got one that was considered used. So what that means is that somebody bought this guitar and had a problem with it, and they sent it back. Now, I've already accepted the fact that this may very well have issues. It could be the action's too low, so someone who bought the guitar and the strings buzzed, so they thought there was something wrong. Or a wire might be off on the electronics, a blemish on the finish or something like that. So I'm holding my breath, but it's packed pretty well. I saw there's a ding there, but it's not really looking too bad. And it's looking a lot better than the last box that my other guitar came in. It was just a big box with some bit of bubble wrap around the guitar essentially, and it made it here in one piece. I was surprised. So we're going to see how this one survived. Yeah. Well, I got a box in a box. What? Kinda. It's there, upside down in the box. What? Not so good, but it seems to be in one piece, and it isn't very heavy. I'm surprised. I'm glad, because the 500 weighs a considerable amount of weight. So we just got the little. That's basic. Yeah. We got half a box. The other half isn't there. But you do have a return policy. If there's something major wrong with it, I mean, I'm going to send it back, obviously. I'm hearing some sort of tension on the strings, so I know that the neck isn't probably broken, which is can't do much if that's the case. Let's look at the headstock. Yeah, looks just like the one in the picture. How many of you guitar players out there in La La Land have been watching all these cheap guitars being reviewed on YouTube? Now, there's a few brands that come up. You hear these Firefly guitars and Grote. There's a few other ones. But one that seems to pop to the top of the list quite a bit is called IYV. And that would be Inyan Vina. That's the name of the company who owns the factory in Vietnam. I'm not an endorser of the brand. I'm not an endorser of buying Chinese guitars, but you know y'all bucks. But most of us are pros, and we got real Gibsons. We don't necessarily all want to get one, but we all want to know what the deal is on them. Well, IYV is to their own. Apparently in the last year or two, they were legally bound to change some of their designs because they were a little too close to their original American counterparts. And in all fairness, that's cool, because they're not the only companies to do that. I mean, Ibanez used to cover Les Pauls, and I don't think there's a brand on the planet that doesn't make a Strat style guitar. PRS has the Silver Sky. It's a beautiful Strat style guitar, and it's got some anointments. It's got the birds and stuff like that. But getting back onto this is called the IYV. And it's a jazz guitar. I just got to get the number here because it's so hard to remember. The IYV IJZ 300 TSB. So TSB would be tobacco sunburst, I guess. And they call it a jazz solid body. And yeah, we'll go with that. But anyway, I saw it, looked rather remarkable, and I had a chance to get one. It must have been returned because it was lowered in price. And I got it delivered to my door with the tax. And this is Canada in August of 2023. I received it delivered right onto my door from Amazon, who sells these things, for $312. $312 at Long & McQuaid will get you an Affinity Series Squire, You know, something like that. And I'm not shitting on the Squiers, because those actually, you can tune them up and set them up, and you can turn them into quite a respectable playing machine. Anyway, these guitars were online. I got two of them. I got the 300 and I got the 500. You can see that in the back. We'll do that in the other review, because I did an unboxing for that one as well. I wanted to give it a month or so, because I really thought it would be good for me to just to mess around with the guitars and, you know, monkey with them and see what's under the hood. YouTube is full of these videos. I'm far from the first guy on the block to do this, but my local buddies are probably interested. Now, I also remind you, I'm not a lead guitar player. I'm a singer in a band who plays a bit of rhythm guitar, so I tend to like playing tellies. I have a custom built telly. It's all made of American parts. It's literally an American Telecaster with everything, but I built it from a Squier, Squier's Classic 5 Telecaster, from the custom model. I also have a Classic 5 Strat that's right off the rack. I haven't done anything to it yet, but one of these days I'll buy one of those plunk-in pick guards or something like that, and you know, turn into something special. I put my money into my acoustic guitars. That's my instrument. But I have a little studio here that friends come over, and I'm doing recording. I'm making my own albums and stuff, and I like to have different flavors. And for electrics, I like having a few different guitars. And I've had this hankering for the hollow body style. Now, if you look at this, first glance, it's quite a beauty thing. I mean, it's at first glance, it's striking. I mean, it looks good. It belies its $300. I literally put no money into this guitar. I put some time into it. And I'm not an expert luthier. I can do basic setups. And that's basically all I had to do with this. And there's actually a couple things I'll point out in a little while that I will have to take it to my luthier to do. I was debating maybe swapping out, putting some nice pickups in there. Maybe some, you know, authentic Gibson pickups. But you know what? The pickups that are in this actually aren't bad. They're probably as good as anything that Epiphone puts in their guitars. The bridge is amazing. It doesn't have the wire across it like the Epiphones would typically have. And the reason why I speak about Epiphones is that I bought a Casino. I'll do it on another review, but I have a Casino because I've never seen the American Casino yet. I've never seen one for sale anywhere around. I don't want to order one in blindly for $3,800 or whatever they cost. So I bought an overseas Casino, a 2023 model, a blonde one, so I guess it looks a bit like John Lennon's guitar. But what I did is I bought that guitar and I basically had it stripped down to nothing but the neck and the body. New bridge, new nut, new everything. I got new electronics. I got Lawler P90s in it. I have locking tuners. I did all that, and yeah, it's a terrific guitar. But it's a built guitar. It's not an American Casino, other than it's everything. It's an American on it except for the neck and the body. Where I'm going with this is that you can take a guitar as far as you want, and you can you can mod them all you want, and there's no stopping to what you can do. And that's what these $300 guitars on Amazon are really well suited for. It. People who can mod their guitars or like to play with them. I bought these for kind of that reason. The reason why I bought them was I have some pretty expensive guitars, and I want to do some setup jobs. I can do my own nut work a little bit and all that. But you know, I'm not going to mess around on my Gibson, you know, my songwriter, or my 12-string hummingbird, my Gibson hummingbird. You know, and when it comes to electrics, once again, if I have an off the rack Les Paul, like, I'm not gonna, no, I don't want to do it. But a $300 IYV, let me tell you. Now, it's a little bit of a lie when I say I didn't put any money into it, because I really didn't. But what I did is funny enough, and this is getting back to the Chinese thing, a lot of people are nervous about ordering guitars online, especially the ones that are direct copies, especially the ones that actually have Gibson and all that. I'm not interested in that. My friends and my circle of musicians, they're all terrific players. They're professionals. They play for a living. And if I want to buy a Chinese guitar, which I have several of, and I know that it's a copy of a Martin or a Gibson, it doesn't need to say it. It's just somebody's interpretation of a beautiful American guitar with all the anointments and the mother of pearls and all that stuff. And yes, I have a 00042 Martin style acoustic, and it's not a $10,000 Martin. It doesn't even sound like it, but it's beautiful, and the workmanship is amazing in it. But it doesn't say Martin on it. There's no Martin stamped inside. I don't have to write fake in there, so I don't rip anybody off inadvertently when I go selling the guitar. People think the worst of it. That's different. These guitars aren't modeled after a specific model. They're an interpretation. Yeah, it looks like a Les Paul hollow body, kind of. I'm not sure what model that's called. Gibson probably made a model that looks similar to this. Very narrow body. And this guitar is a solid mahogany top. I believe so. It might be maple, but it's definitely a mahogany veneer, but it's not a paint. It's not a sticker. It's a real beautiful, very gorgeous mahogany veneer. The back is mahogany. There you go. Beautiful. Hey, look at the grain. It's lovely. The neck. Look at that neck. Isn't that beautiful? Nice. There's a fit and finish is really good on these things. Came with a pick guard. Get rid of that. That was really cheap looking. Okay. The tuners that it came with this were laughable. Funny thing is, the tuners that are on the other one back there are probably the same brand and model with a slightly different designed tuner on it. Those ones have bean style, and the other ones had more of the crown style that gives them a little bit kind of. But the ones that were on this were horrible. They actually held the tune a little bit, but there was so much play it was worth it. But I had these, and this is for the story. I had these laying around. I bought them on Marketplace. Somebody was selling them. They said they had a used set of Grovers they were selling, and because they upgraded their Gibsons. The first thing I thought was, unless they went for something that was like mother of pearl or that, I said, why would you sell a set of Grovers for $50? And as I got home, I went, wait a minute. I think they're Chinese knockoffs. Funny thing is that they work great, so I'm happy with them. So I put them on the guitar, and it was an upgrade. I mean, they're probably not real, and I got had on that. And that's the only thing that makes me nervous about all this Chinese stuff. There's no shame in playing Chinese instruments. Their necks are great. The Chinese Fenders, I'm telling you, and the Classic 5 Squire series of guitars and the Chinese Fenders, the Fenders that were made in China, they're all made in the same factory. The Squire Classic 5s, I believe, they're all made in the same Chinese factory. They got the date stamps on the neck. They got the beautiful finish. They're just built well. I like them better than the Mexican necks by a long shot, and they rival the American necks. The biggest problem with Chinese instruments is not so much the quality of the build, when you're dealing with electrics anyway, is that maybe it's because Asian hands are smaller, but all their necks just seem a little narrower, a little thinner, a little something. They never quite feel like an American neck, and most American necks just have a little bit more girth. And I attribute that probably because as North Americans, maybe we have larger hands and it's more comfortable of a radius. But outside of that, the fretwork, you know, I got a $3,500 Gibson acoustic in there, and I'm telling you, the fretwork's no better than that. It's got bindings all the way around the body, front and back. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 layers in the front binding. Mother of pearl and abalone inlays on the frets. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, that's exactly what it is. It's incredible. This is just the acoustic sound of it. It doesn't really have a whole lot of sound, but you know, it has what it has. Now, what I got plugged in here, I got a vintage Princeton amp. Now, once again, I'm a rhythm player. I am not a lead player by any stretch of the imagination, and I don't pretend to be. I play rhythm in the band, and that's all I'm ever going to play. So I like to jam along. I have a line 6 stomp pedal here, and on just a factory setting, it's just a pop my punk setting. It's just a good old. That's the bridge pickup. And it sounds, you know, neck pickup. And this is in the middle. And this is the setting that everybody seems to dig. And this guitar once again, was $300. I can mod it, but I probably won't unless I get a deal on the parts. I'm not going to order them online. This plays great out of the box. Now, it needed to be set up a bit. The action was actually too low. I had to raise the action a bit. Easy. Just, you know, this. Oh, yeah, getting back to the bridge. Feel that. A lot of these cheap guitars have wobbly bridges. It's just what it is from the IYV factory. And it works fine. The buttons. I know they're not the great big. They're not. I mean, they're not the high-end, you know, American spec pots. Look, I can see them. They're quite small, actually. There's not much to them in there. And look. They turn like really expensive pots. They're not all stiff and sticky. You know, the fit and finish is great. I keep whacking the headstock here, and it's staying in tune remarkably. Now, here's what's funny. It's got a maple side on it, and that's the funny thing. I don't know why they just don't see. They have the burst finish on the side. They should just make it all dark because it's actually quite ugly. It's a piece of wood that stops there. They splice in another piece. There's no purfling inside there. They just take the sides and they just basically clamp it all together and use a whack of glue in there. The other one is is more hollow, but this one actually has a center block running through it. And I mean, I've been trying for the last 3 weeks to find something wrong with it, to bitch about it, to say, why did I buy this piece of crap? I can't do it. I just can't do it. I would put it on par with any Ibanez, the Art Court series. Yeah, sure. Anything by any of the Epiphone hollow body guitars that are, you know, there's probably this is probably better than a lot of them. The Gretsch's that are out. This is who they're competing with. $300 Canadian with tax and free shipping. You can't get an Epiphone or a Gretsch. You know, you can't get an Ibanez for that kind of money. So yeah, it's a bargain. If you want to, but that's great. If you want to mod it out, you happen to have a real hot set of DiMarzios, or you want to put some fancy jazz pickups in it, well, by all means. You're still going to peeve your guitar up. It'll probably be, with all the mods you could do to this, and it comes with a bone nut. You can put all the mods you want to do on this guitar, and you're probably still going to have less than $1,000 into it. And it's a guitar that'll, you know, can earn you thousands. I'm really quite pleased. IYV hit it out of the park. You got to get them when they're in stock. I did have a problem with the switch. It didn't work when I got it. I had to resolder the wires, and it was really hard fishing it through, and blah, blah, blah. Don't think you're going to buy one of these out of the box and just become and have it like that. You're going to have to put some time into it, or take it to your luthier. Yes, the fretwork on this is incredible, except the 4th fret. I don't have a fret crowning tool. Everybody seems to have them these days. I think it's a new hobby online. I'll probably get one myself. But regardless, the 4th fret is just a little bit out of whack. I polished the frets. I oiled the fretboard. Oh my God! It took so much oil. I could see it soaking into the grain. It's a very nice looking grain. I'm probably some sort of I think they call it Indian laurel or something like that. That's probably what this wood is. It's certainly not rosewood. It could be. It's a nice piece of wood. I got no complaints. Sucked up a lot of oil, but the mother of pearl and the abalone inlays, I mean, I don't know how they do it. I really don't. But everything works and stays. And the intonation was almost dead on. I used strobe tuners, so I had no problem setting the intonation, and it set real well. That one has a wooden bridge, they're actually floating bridge, and I thought, oh, here we go. And you'll see that the intonation is great on that one too. This IYV company they don't sell them in stores. I mean, this is like a factory that sells direct from the factory. You can order custom shop instruments from them. They'll build you whatever you want. I have no problem with this. I'm going to take it to a gig or two. Why not? And I'll have some fun with it. But even acoustically, it's actually not bad acoustically, right? I can sit here and write a song on it without even plugging it in. The action. I don't have a guitar, and I've never owned a guitar or have a guitar at this moment that the action is any better than that. I mean, we're down to thousands. I mean, like, it's incredible. I mean, you can't see it by me doing that, but I'm telling you, just look at that. Look at that. I'm going to try and get it lined up. How about if I go like this? You see that? The strings are just barely off the fretboard all the way. And that's with a funky fret. That's with fret 4 needing a little bit of work. It needs to be crowned. Peace out, folks. Watch for my next video. I have another one coming up on the 500 series of the IYV, and we'll catch you in that video. Whatever you do, push the subscribe button. I have videos coming out all the time, not just guitar and this kind of stuff. I have music videos, I have live streams and podcasts. I've always got something interesting coming out, and I want you guys to be the first ones to see it. Push that subscribe button, and it helps me out, it helps my channel, and I'll try and keep you guys a little bit informed, and of course, I'll try to keep you entertained as well. See you in the next video.
Yeah,